It's about that time of day again, folks. Welcome back. Welcome back. Joseph James here. I got my good friend Marty Errico from Traders Audio alongside with me this morning. Marty's got his feet on the ground, the NYMEX exchange this morning. He's from Traders Audio, and of course, my name is Joseph James. I'm from SchoolOfTrade.com, and I am here in my home office in Los Angeles. This morning, welcome aboard. Welcome to our finally Friday edition of our crude oil morning prep. Every morning, we go from the screen to the trading floor, all the way from Los Angeles to New York City. I'm going to begin this morning with a technical approach. Once again, my name is Joseph. Thanks for coming out and listening in this morning. I run a live trade room every morning. Come out and see us at SchoolOfTrade.com every morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Give us a call here in the office. We'd love to share more information about our trading strategies. I'm a technical analyst, so I'm looking at charts, and of course, I'm going to begin with a top-down approach, which means we'll start with a slower time frame and then move down to a faster time frame. Now, my main goal is to analyze what's happening over the London trading session, which, of course, is the overnight session here in the U.S. I know that if I can look at the overnight session, if I study the previous trading session, I can usually anticipate direction at the open, and I'll be able to find those high percentage trading opportunities starting as early as 8 a.m. Eastern Time. So this morning, my job is relatively simple. Go out and find a slower time frame, analyze what happened overnight, try to anticipate the direction coming out the open, find some high percentage trading opportunities which will occur at those support and resistance levels that we define. And then, of course, those trading opportunities will get started here in about 20 minutes, trading at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Now, once I'm done with you here in Los Angeles, I'm going to toss you all the way across the country over to the NYMEX exchange. I've got my good friend Marty Errico from Traders Audio. Him and his partner Jeffrey, they do a great job every day. At 8:50 a.m., go check them out at Traders Audio. 8:50 a.m., they begin their morning broadcast every morning, live from the NYMEX exchange, talking about nat gas and crude oil futures. And of course, Marty, our pit analysis this morning, will provide us with market direction, intermarket divergence, important market internals and option prices, and of course, those always very important and sometimes elusive pit session trading levels. Keep in mind, the trading pit in the NYMEX is a very active trading floor. It still has a lot of control over the price action we see every day. And so remember, we're going to be taking a look at that because there's a difference between what we see on the screen and what the traders are seeing on the floor. All righty, you've heard enough out of me this morning. Let's jump right into it here this morning. First of all, we'll head down and take a look at some of the news we're looking at this morning, or should I say lack thereof. Today, of course, we always begin each morning with a formal routine. And this morning, we head over to our crude oil squawk. Of course, head over to sidewaysmarkets.com. And over at sidewaysmarkets.com, you'll see a link up top here called the Crude Oil Squawk and Prep. You can go ahead and check that out. That's how you get to our crude oil blog. First things first, grab the news this morning. And we always remind ourselves, first thing every day, let's think about what day of the week, what week of the month, what month of the year. Well, what day of the week do we have today? Today's a Friday. And of course, on a Friday, we know that we are going to be early in and early out, right? So we know take that money and run today. Okay, one of the most important things we do on a Friday is making sure that we end the week in the green. Take that money conservatively, take the profits quickly, right? We never know when that last trade is going to come because the volume will come and go very quickly on a Friday. So that's the day of the week. What week of the month? This is the third Friday of the month. What is the third Friday of the month? What happens on the third Friday? Options expire. That's right. The third Friday of every month, the options expire. In fact, 3 different asset classes expire. Now, remember, the third Friday of every 3 months, right, quadruple witching. That's when all 4 asset classes expire. March, June, September, December, right? The 3, 6, 9, and 12 months. Okay, so Friday, third Friday. Starting to see a little bit of smoke here, and where there's smoke, there might be fire. We might have to worry about some of this. Now, one more thing here. Now that we know the day of the week, we know the week of the month, what is the month of the year right now? We're in the month of July. Think about what significance the month of July has. Is it the beginning of the year? Is it the end of the year? Is it the Is it an important time of the year? Yeah, it's summertime. So here we have this morning now, we have a Friday that is the third Friday of the month that is inside of a summertime month. If you're not seeing those red flags yet, guys, make sure you're writing this stuff down. Summertime trading. What do we expect in the summertime? We expect slightly fewer opportunities, but more importantly, it's the inconsistency in the volume that comes into the summertime. What often happens is in the summertime, traders will use, well, a Friday without any news as an excuse to have a long weekend. So the summertime is always that time of the year that we have to expect when there's no major news. If it's a summertime Friday, it's even more important, right? Just like you, everybody else would love to get their weekend started, right? We love to have a 3-day weekend every weekend. So put yourself in the average person's shoes and think on a summertime Friday, if there was no major news, it was OPEX Friday, what would you assume that would happen? Well, I'd want to have the boat gassed up or the barbecue grill fired up. I'd want to be camping or on the boat somewhere. Guys, we know today is going to be slow. We know today is going to be slow. All right? That's one of the beautiful things about trading. Whatever you feel is what most likely other human beings will feel. You know how back in the old days when you were in school, right, and the teacher said, think of ways to be different. Think of ways to stand out, right, to a future employer. Well, guys, I hate to break it to you, but when it comes to trading, what is very counterintuitive to a new trader is that we need to put ourselves in every other trader's shoes and think, what's the masses going to be doing today? If the kids are out of school, we're out of the markets, right? If the kids are out of school, we are out of the markets. Now, of course, we'll trade throughout the entire summer, but these are those days in the summertime that we really got to be aware of, all right? So we look at the news this morning, and there is no news, and that should be a very big red flag for us right off the bat. We've had Bernanke speaking all week. We've had incredible price action for a summertime week here this week so far. It's been a very profitable week here. Our strategy this morning is protect, protect, protect capital at all costs. So we'll be trading smaller size this morning. We'll be trading a little bit more conservatively today. On a Friday, like I said, there's nothing worse than going home in the red on the week, so keep that money right where it is right now. We'll be trading smaller contract sizes, which means if we're trading 10 lots, we're trading 5. If we're trading 3 lots, we're trading 1. Okay? What do we see here? Here's the anchor chart on crude oil. Now that we know what the news is this morning, looking at the anchor chart here, we finally broke out, right? We finally got that new higher high. You can see two really big important clues on this chart. First of all, you get the bull channel. The bull channel should be enough already to remind us that we are rising higher this morning. And the second thing we see is the symmetry resistance zone overhead, 109.31. Now, if you look at a daily chart, you'll see that same thing. So there's quite a bit of consistency up around that 109.5, up around that 110 area when we start to look at the dailies and the weekly charts. On the 60-minute chart, though, this morning, we see rising prices. We see symmetry resistance. We know today is going to be a low-volume day. Also, too, I should remind you, we are on the 913 contract right now. If I didn't specify that earlier, we did roll over from the 813 yesterday to the 913 this morning, or yesterday afternoon we rolled over. So we're trading the 913 contract this morning. It's going to be a little bit lower volume because of the Friday. And we know what happens when the volume gets really low. Sometimes the market trades sideways, and sometimes the market will really run, right, when we see the volume drop. Remember, when the volume drops, all of a sudden the liquidity goes away, and so we see these big jumps in price. Remember, trading is a zero-sum game, so for every buyer, there must be a seller. If we have buyers in the market this morning and there's nobody out there selling to them, price is going to jump up here very, very quickly. So, boy, under normal conditions, I would say it's a little bit ridiculous on a Friday to see this to trade to 109.31, but I do not see that being a problem today. I think it would be easy for crude to jump up to 109.31 today. Now, can I guarantee that? Absolutely not. Let's double check now on a faster time frame, and let's see what the levels look like that we need to work with today. Now, before I go to the faster time frame, remember what our job is. What's the objective of an anchor chart? This is an anchor chart, the slowest time frame that we use. What's the objective? There are two things I'm trying to accomplish on this. I'm trying to define direction, and I'm trying to find the major support and resistance. What's the direction? The direction clearly is moving higher. That tells me the high percentage trades today will be buying at support, buying with pullbacks, etc., etc. So the next thing we're looking for is where's the major support and resistance? Because when we find price around a major level of support or resistance on an anchor chart, we know we're going to get the best trades today. Now, are we near support or resistance? Where's the major support? Well, I've got 107.54, and I have the low of the channel. I've got 106.30, right? Those are the major support levels. Where would the major resistance levels be? It would be the 109.31, the 110.51, and of course the high of the channel. So we can see where are we right now. We are not really anywhere near any major support and resistance. Now think about it. What is support? Support is where we expect buyers to react. Is support a brick wall? Right? No. Is support guaranteed to hold things? No, it's not. But it's where we expect traders to react. At support, we may see selling or buying. But the bottom line is, guys, when we are trading at major support or major resistance on an anchor chart, that's when I get excited because I know today is going to be a very good day. Where we are right now, I'm a little bit concerned, right? We can see the direction moving higher. But again, with the low volume, summertime Friday, OPEX Friday, boy, it's just screaming at us this might be a little bit of a challenging morning, right? I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we get some good trends here this morning and are able to buy some pullbacks as it keeps going higher. But again, we're right in the middle of the range. We're not near major support. We're not near major resistance. This price could really do anything it wants to this morning. Moving forward here today now, we'll look over at a 5-minute chart. And this 5-minute chart, very, very important. Now, when we look at these 5-minute charts, we're looking really at two main things. The first thing is yesterday's trading range. Where are we in relationship to it? There's yesterday's high, 107.81, yesterday's low, 105.92. Where are we in relationship to yesterday's highs? We are above yesterday's highs. Now, I treat the value area high and the value area low just like the previous high of day and previous low of day. Okay, I'm a big range trader. I see a lot of value in trading ranges because trading ranges express where other people have seen value, right? We talked about that yesterday in our live trade room, talking about value in the market. So here we are. We can see now that the traders, the market participants, clearly see value above the highs from yesterday. What would cause? Let's think real quick. What would cause somebody to see value as being higher on crude oil? How about a hurricane announcement, right? What if we heard from the National Weather Center there was a huge hurricane that was going to clobber South Florida? What do you think would happen? People would speculate that there would be supply concerns over crude oil and price would rise. So that's what I mean by the traders seeing value above the highs. If you, as an individual, thought there was going to be a shortage of crude oil, right, or an excessive demand of crude oil, you would probably see value in higher prices as well, right? So we know we're above the value area high. We're above the previous high of day. We're above the range from yesterday. I know that means we're bullish. But we have one more trick up our sleeves. It's called the PRZ, the price reversal zone. This is the range coming in overnight. And you'll notice that if you were following our newsletter this morning or if you were following our crude oil blog, we mentioned the short today at 108.31. You can see right now that short is making you money. So don't forget, every morning we're posting those exact trade calls on our trading blog. What's my plan here then? My plan is that inside of this range, I buy lows and I sell highs. Once we break below it, I'm bearish, and I'm using support levels below me at 107.12, 106.88, 106.49, and 105.92 as profit targets. As we go higher, I will then begin to buy pullbacks above the 108.30, using the 108.53 and 108.77 as a target. We also have the 109.16 up here. That's another profit target for you. So looking at this chart now, we can see that we are successfully testing the PRZ and we have a successful short coming in off the highs. Members, don't forget, if we get back below the previous high of day, the sellers will be in charge. But we cannot sell short until we get, well, we can sell short, but it will be lower percentage until we get below that 107.34. Okay, so look for price to get below the 107.34 for us to be looking bearish. The prior week's high is down here. You can easily see if this price collapses, it could collapse below last week's high, below yesterday's high, right? These buyers may decide we do not see value here any longer. We thought we did, but now we'll tumble, right, and go lower. Don't forget, we got that trend line down here. That trend line will make for one of the best profit targets we'll get today. I would expect, though, crude to trade sideways or higher today as we see that bullish channel on that 60-minute chart. And with the lack of volume, we can easily see this either going sideways or really cruising higher. I am going to be anxious to look at the market personality once we get pushing new higher highs here. I'll be buying pullbacks on crude. Those are my levels on crude today, guys. The big talking points today for crude oil futures or for anything today is the lower volume environment, the range-bound trading. Don't forget to take that money early this morning. Get in and get out of this market personality before the volume dries up. You do not want to be holding on to that final trade after 11 o'clock this morning unless you've got a very, very good reason. Now, that's just my opinion on the market this morning. I'm here on an OPEX Friday, but you know what? I'm always curious to see what's happening on the floor. You know, it's very unique that we're able to use this pit analysis because I'm here looking at a chart. I have reason to believe that things are going to be a little bit sleepy and sloppy today, but you know, Marty's on the floor of the NYMEX exchange right now, for crying out loud. Marty, what are you seeing out there, my man? Are you seeing the same thing? Is it just as quiet on the floor as it is on the screen right now?
Yeah, I agree with just lack of market participation. We have some of our larger brokers that are speaking to a lot of their clients that they have over in London, really all over the country here in the United States. They're missing, so lack thereof market participants, as we are going to see some higher risk trading, I would think, today. Okay, so overall, we're on the train to 110. We're on our way up there again, as we are expired in the options today. A couple days ago we expired in options, and now today we are into the front month step. Now we've been rolling in the pit for a while, so we've been watching a lot of kind of like last minute foggy positions kind of get off the board. Yesterday into the close, we saw paper going in long, big buying in terms of at the close. Now on the closing bell, that's when we saw this large paper buying. So quite interesting in terms of just how they take their position now. As far as the range, we're above obviously yesterday's high in the pit session, and we're above yesterday's settlement number. As soon as we fall back below, as we just kind of did, we tested the highs. JJ was mentioning that 108.20 level, 108.819, and we kind of start to now watch a little bit of reversal. Now, earlier in the day we had supply, some supply disruptions over in Canada, believe it or not, and that was the news story, top news story of the morning, just some supply disruptions in Canada. Looks like now they have all that back to normal. Hang on 1 second. Let's just get up those charts here. Bear with me here for 1 second. So the slide. So that news is kind of now out of the market. I believe everything's fine now. No disruptions. Everything's all cool. So we'll be obviously keeping an eye on that out of Canada. Again, Canadian problems over there. So, all right, let's take a look at our usual suspects. Again, the only thing that will probably make this market rise is if this dollar continues to trade lower and the rest of our products trade higher. Again, we're front month September, so we're going to be using some, continuous contract levels here today to try to get the best buying and selling zones for your crude. So as I mentioned, we have been now sitting in this channel now, no hiding the fact that we've been in this channel, right? And we're looking at that 109, 110 level as some near-term resistance and as our near-term upside. So as if we could real quickly just take a look at the larger time frame, you can obviously see here we're targeting the highs up here at 112 overall, but we can obviously see that 110 here again today acting as some decent resistance. That's on the longer time frame chart. You look with me here on the shorter time frame bucket SEP here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we got that 109.30 up to 110 marked off here. 110.08 is actually that level to the upside that a lot of our guys in the pit are going to be watching. So overall, we're going to be, if we can stay above 108.20 today, we can buy pullbacks, right? If not, then we're going to be looking to fade this range high. But as I mentioned, we've been having a lot of our market participants long. That's paper, pretty much alongside a lot of our larger locals as well, showing a nice bid in the market as well. So we're going to have to really see if volatility is staying accordingly with our range, right? We need to see some nice volatility. We also need to see our products trade higher. That's RBOB, heating oil, Brent, the Brent WTI spread, all-time lows. Again, this is all-time lows, well, not all-time lows, but for this year, all-time lows on the Brent WTI spread. As we tighten up, that was a very bullish variable yesterday. Again, that gave us our clues as we looked at our spreads yesterday. We looked at our products. They all were skyrocketing, and that pushed up crude higher as well. And then keep in mind that dollar was trading in the same direction as crude, but today I think we can watch a little bit more of a risk-on sentiment as we watch the dollar down about 30 points this morning. The crude is up more than 30 points here. We're up just about, in the SEP contract at least here, just about 30 points or so, 35 points. So overall spreads are looking tight, rather bullish this morning. We're looking at a multiple market divergence up at the high of the range. I can say that right now, at the high of the range, and a very important level in terms of just the line in the sand. So if we can continue to hold these levels above the 108.20, 108.43, we can start to see a little bit of a bullish trend up towards that 109.30 to 110. Okay, if we don't hold levels above the 108.20 and the 108.40, right, then we could start to sell the high end of that range, and then we'll trade down a little bit lower. So it's pretty simple here. It depends where we open today. That's what's going to be the big variable. Natural gas, if we could just move the natural gas real quickly here, obviously looking at this a little bit of a longer time frame chart, you can see, yes, we had a huge run up yesterday in natural gas due to our storage data. We have Baker Hughes rig counts today, so expect a nice move in natural gas, ladies and gentlemen, later on in the day into the closing bell. So overall, natty gas selling the high of the range now as we're up at the high of the wedge. Of course, the harder they spike up, the harder they'll fall. So we're expecting a little bit of a 50% retracement here on the natural gas. So overall, we're watching just the fade of the high of the range. So here's 50% right here at 373, right? 370, even the 373, it's going to be our reversal zone. So we could trade down to that into this opening bell this morning. Again, we're looking to trade down to 373, and then we could watch to see if we're going to trade higher from there. Again, this is going to be where we're going right now. That's our target. That's our 50% retrace pullback from yesterday, and we could possibly then trade within that range. So again, we're looking now to pull back as we had such a nice up day yesterday, up toward the higher end wedges, and then we'll be in the middle of our wedge once we hit that resistance zone. So that's really kind of it in terms of RBOB, heating oil, crude, Brent, all just trading higher. Spreads are tight, so we're looking bullish here, unless we get some other variables to start to tell us that we are going to trade with out of the range. So let's look at these SEP levels. I'll also give you some Augie levels. I'm going to give you guys the most important continuous levels that we're going to be watching. But overall, in the September contract, these are your levels, ladies and gentlemen, for today. I got your high from yesterday's pit session up at 108.19. Your low down at 106.66, and we closed and settled the day at 107.80. That's right, 107.80 is where we closed and settled the pit session for your September contract. 108 even, right? 108.01 was the level that we settled the Augie contract in yesterday. Once again, that's 108.01. Alrighty, guys, your daily pivot today is going to be at 107.55, which we are trading well above at the moment by at least almost 50 cents, 60 cents here, so we're well above that daily pivot. Resistance up above I have for you guys, 108.44. That's going to be that first line in the sand that I just spoke about. That's also yesterday's pit session high in the Augie contract. So 108.44, very important line in the sand level. Then that can get us up to the 109, right? 109.09. That's going to be the higher end of our little bit of a short-term channel. And then overall, 110.61. Support down below, decent buying opportunities, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we got that 106.91. 106.66, the pit session low from yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, I also got that 106.02 and the 104.50. So far, implied volatility has been holding steady at about 23%. OVX trades around 23.80. And as I mentioned, in the pit, we've been watching a lot of those 108, 110, 112 calls trade. Believe it or not, I see some money even out further. We're seeing over 7,120 calls trade, over 5,125 calls trade, over 5,130 calls trade. 115 calls, they also trade about 5,000 times. So look how they put the money up to the upside here. They do put a lot of money. Now, downside, yes, they do shore up the downside. They put 4,000. They trade about 4,000 lots on the 100 put, 102 put, 105 put, and 95 put, but only 4,000 opposed to those, 6 to 5,000 on the call side. So just a little bit more money in the call. Right now we're pretty much even skew at the moment as we're just getting back into now this September and these options trading. So the options are telling us even skew with a little bit more money to the upside around that 110 level. And yes, that's what traders are thinking we could get up to there. There's the 8 o'clock bell. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, quickly, I just had the 8 o'clock bell. Let me just go and take a look at these natural gas levels. As we were mentioning, yes, we are looking for a little bit of downside today, a little bit of a pullback after the big spike up. And keep in mind, we have Baker Hughes rig counts, so we're going to have a very, very nice closing bell trade depending on what those rig counts look like. So if you're looking for activity, 2 to 2:30 in natural gas should bring, or 1 to 2:30 should bring us some decent activity. 1 o'clock, 2:30. Pit session high in the natural gas Augie contract yesterday. We don't roll till SEP in a while. Augie contract high 383.50, low 366.90, closing settlement number 381. 381 even. Today your daily pivot's going to be 377. That's 377.10. Daily pivot today. Resistance up above, I got 387.30, 390.90, and 404.70. Support down below 370.70, 363.30, and 349.5. But again, I'm looking at those upside levels to be tested, obviously, and then the reversal down to about the 373. Right? Once we get down to 373 to 370, we can look for a little bit of a buying opportunity unless those Baker Hughes rig counts tell us different. Alrighty, guys, that's about it for me here again on the trading floor. We just had the 8 o'clock bell. I'm going to throw it back over to JJ in Los Angeles. We are ready to rock and roll here on a Friday.
Thank you, Marty. As always, appreciate all your feedback, all your input, and boy, always a great experience to have a look at what's happening on the trading floor. Guys, you heard it straight from Marty. We're seeing some quiet price action this morning. We are projecting prices to potentially move higher here this morning on crude. As both of us have seen here, the bullish sentiment on crude oil. We'll have to wait, though, and see where this market personality takes us here this morning. I'm buying pullbacks here. If we go to higher highs here today on crude, I think Marty agrees with me on that. So make sure you guys check out our blog over at Sideways Markets. The link is right there on the blog, and that way you guys can get all the today's charts updated today and all of the guidance. So I've just finished updating our Crude Oil Squawk blog. You can find all of the charts here from Marty and myself, available every morning here at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming out and joining us today. My name is Joseph James. Shoot me an email. Drop me a line here at JJ@SchoolOfTrade. You can contact Marty. He's Marty at Traders Audio. And don't forget to go see Marty and his partner Jeffrey at Traders Audio today at 8:50 a.m. Eastern Time. They do a great broadcast live from the NYMEX Exchange. Coming to you guys live from Los Angeles, my name is Joseph. Thank you so much for a great week, for a great morning. Have a wonderful OPEX Friday. Be careful out there, and don't forget, we'll see you guys on Monday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time for another Monday edition. We've got Rebalancing Monday next Monday morning, and we'll talk more about that when we see you next. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget to wear that helmet this weekend. We'll see you back here safe and sound on Monday morning. Have a great weekend, guys. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.